Throughout the program, you'll have a chance to answer 3 trivia questions, maybe 4, to test your knowledge about Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Christmas. So let's get started here. Your first trivia question. Answer is, I'm waiting for the poll results. They're there. Are they coming, Melissa? Yes, there they are. We have 54% true and 46% false, sort of like our country. It is true. They do shed their antlers towards Christmas. So if you got that question right, you know a little something more than I did. So now, let's see. We are going to, I'm getting all my sheets mixed up here. Oh, I mentioned our executive director earlier, Melissa Probert, and she is a woman of many talents. And now to set the right tone for the afternoon's festivities, she's going to show us how to prepare a blueberry mock mojito. If you have all of the ingredients, make it along with her. So take it away, Melissa.
Technological difficulties, hold on. Should be this one, and it just keeps, it really likes that song.
Oh, close that one. We've come a long way in our Zoom technology, but we always seem to have a glitch now and then. So we're still learning.
Okay.
There she is.
Hi, it's me, Melissa Probert, your resident mixologist and NCJW Chicago North Shore Executive Director. I want to wish you happy holidays, and I want to show you how to make a fun and festive cocktail for all ages to start off your celebration. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is a blueberry mojito, and it makes 2 servings. So a really fun thing to do is, if you have blue sugar from the grocery store, you can rim your glass with it. So just take a little bit of lime and go around the edge of your glass, and then you put your blue sugar on a plate. Just go like that gently with your glass, and you get a nice little blue rim. So that's super fun. Put some crushed ice in each of the 2 glasses. There we go. Good enough. And we're going to put those aside. Then you're going to take about a cup of blueberries and put them in a cocktail shaker or a heavy-duty cup. Pour those in, and then you're going to take a muddler, or you could use a spoon, the back of the spoon, and you're going to just kind of crush those up. It makes a great noise. You want to crush them, get some juice out of them. You could also pop it in the blender if that's easier. Then you're going to take about 10 sprigs of fresh mint and put that in, and then muddle some more. Then just a little bit of sugar, 2 teaspoons. If you're not really into sweet drinks, you could use less or even just leave it out, depending how sweet your berries are. And we're just going to continue crushing. Then we are going to add lime juice, and this is the amount. This is about 2 limes or a quarter cup of fresh lime juice. And we're gonna do a couple more pops with the muddler, and then put that aside. Put on our top to our cocktail shaker and take it low.
going to split it between 2 cups. We're not going to strain it because we want all that blueberry yum to come out. Look how pretty that is. Just going to kind of eyeball the split. There we go. And then you can add either club soda, or I like to use LaCroix or other flavor of sparkling water. Just a little extra flavor. Just kind of pour that in. Let it bubble up. We're gonna mix that.
Do you feel like you're doing a cooking show?
We'll mix that up. See that pretty color? And then you can garnish it with either some extra berries or a slice of mint, or you can do a fun berries and mint and lime all in one. And voila! Cheers and happy holidays.
Yay! Nice.
That was wonderful. I bet you all didn't know how talented that Melissa was. She has a very long resume, let me just say. So, and we do love the Hanukkah blue. Next, we need something to eat, apparently, with our mojitos. So, and what we need now are cookies to go along with it. So Kim Francovilla, another multi-talented woman, is just the woman we need to help us. Kim started her career as a singer on cruise ships and has had years of experience singing alongside big bands and seasoned performers. Pre-pandemic, Kim was busy performing for seniors in retirement communities, care centers, church groups, ladies clubs, and really anywhere seniors gathered. She sang the standards with updated arrangements, which everyone loved. But in mid-March, like so many others, this came to a screeching halt. So she pivoted to another passion of hers, cooking and baking. She launched her YouTube site, Uncensored Food, where she displays her cooking skills in the most entertaining way. Today, she is going to show us how to make the perfect sugar cookie. I hope you are baking along with Kim. While the cookies are in the oven, Kim will treat us to 2 beautiful songs. Enjoy.
Well, thank you so much. Hello, ladies. It's nice to see you. Am I on the right view here? Can you see me? Okay, because I can see you. You look good. I'm going to make the most perfect and very easy sugar cookies. And Debbie, you're going to list all the ingredients and everything at the end of your thing?
It's on our website. People have been able to see it.
Perfect.
Yes.
Because I'll get as close as I can. You start by getting a stand mixer and have two sticks of room temperature butter. Oh geez, which means just take it out in the morning. Crying out loud. You start with that. Who's calling me now? Go away. Okay. We're gonna whip this up with 1 cup of confectioner's sugar and 1 cup of regular granulated sugar. Get that in there. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you, before you even do that, get your dry ingredients mixed together. And the dry ingredients are 4.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, which makes things fluffy, and a teaspoon of baking soda. And then just get that all together, set it aside. Now we're going to put in all the wet ingredients, which is the sugar, the butter, 2 eggs at room temperature. Again, it's important you use room temperature. For some reason, it's better. I don't know. That's science. I can't figure out why. They just tell me to do it, so that's what I do. And 1 cup of vegetable oil and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Not a calorie in this, ladies. Now, mix that up. This is going to be noisy, so I'll mute during this part, right? And once this gets light and fluffy, we start adding the spoonfuls of flour one at a time. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, we decided that was a little too noisy for all of us. So we have one of our big bonus questions here. How do you spell Hanukkah? Because me and Melissa, we disagree. So pick your choice. And we'll wait for our results. Poor Melissa's doing an awful lot of work in the background. So what's the other, I wonder? Okay. So Melissa, we're tied because Melissa and I, she was with the CH and I was not. Okay, while she's still making noise, I'm tap dancing, ladies. So on one of our recent salons, they tried this new Zoom interactive method, and it's called the waterfall. And what you do is, I'm going to ask you to, maybe we'll just, wait, time out. Maybe
Can I
we
tell you
won't.
one thing?
Yes.
As the color will change, it will get lighter, it will get brighter as it fluffs up, and it's going to get a much better, thicker consistency. So now I'll mute myself again and I'll start adding spoonfuls of flour. All right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to try this because I loved the idea of a waterfall. So what we do is, for now, we can maybe just wish everybody a happy Hanukkah, however you want to. You type it in, but you don't into the chat, but you do not hit enter until I tell you to. Okay, so everyone has to go to their chat and type it in however you like. And I'm typing more than 2 words. And when I say enter, we hit it all at the same time. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, enter. And then it's called a waterfall. So you can read everyone how they wish everyone happy Hanukkah. So, and it all comes out at once. So I've always wanted to do that. So that's part of my tap dancing. So hopefully, oh, we seem to have lost, wait a minute. Oh, there she is. But I lost Kim for a moment. Let me see. How are we doing, Kim?
Wait, am I there?
Yes, you're there.
Okay, I just have this much more.
Oh, it's not too bad now, the noise.
What?
The noise isn't too bad now.
Am I unmuted? Oh, yes, I am. Okay.
So let me just tell you that Kim's Uncensored Foods, you have to go, if you go to her YouTube, it's a little blue, a little rated R. So we told her she had to.
But my mother used to say, if you can't take the salty language, go yourself. And but we decided cooking should be effing fun. It just should be fun. Make a mess, do it. So that's where that came from.
But she makes all sorts of wonderful things, and it's fun to watch. And I think you've been doing like 1 a day since.
Well, you know what? I started out doing 1 a day, saying that I was going to do 1 a day until we were allowed out of shutdown. That's when I thought we were going to be shut down for a month. It's been 9. So,
running out of recipes?
Well, no, I can always find something awesome to cook, but I'm getting more dimples on my butt. I got to be very careful. And I don't eat all of my food. I give it away because if it stays here, I'm in trouble.
So,
Okay, now can I interrupt now? Because I'm
yes. I'm done tap dancing. You're
Okay.
on.
Okay, I'm back, baby. All right. Now I've set the preheated the oven to 375 degrees, and I take a small spoon. Look how fluffy. Look at how, I mean, even the dough. Oh my God, I love it so much. I'm the only one eating these, so I can lick it and put it in. I take a small piece of dough. This is going to be hard for you to see, but it's about a teaspoon size drop of dough on a piece of parchment paper on a cookie sheet. Fill that up. Don't make it too close together. These will flatten somewhat when they cook. Now, when the oven beeps at 375, you put this in for 8 to 10 minutes. That's it. When they come out, they're going to look uncooked. There might be a little brown around the edges. And then you just take the whole piece of parchment paper onto the counter and let them cool there before you try to take them off. And they will deflate somewhat after you take them off. Debbie, you made a batch of these. Did they deflate it all for you? Hey, you're gone. I can't hear you.
I'm being un-Zoom-like.
Okay.
Yes. Mine are sort of puffy.
Yeah. And that's because of how much flour you use.
And I think, you talked about eggs at room temperature. They weren't.
Oh,
So
that'll, yeah.
that must have been the difference. They weren't at room temperature because I was doing this at 9 o'clock last night. And when I saw that, I went, oh.
Oops.
I became uncensored foods.
Yeah, the oven, it's ready. The other thing is this makes a lot of cookies. This makes a really large batch. Look at, it seems like I barely touched it. So I'm gonna cook this tray and then I'm gonna put the rest of this dough in my freezer and it'll hold up. And then when I feel like cooking it, when I need a snack, I can cook it. So I don't have to do this all at one time. That's just a little tip. There you go.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because it makes an awful lot unless you're having a party, which none of us can have parties this year. So this is just me, kids. How many cookies can a gal eat? So this will go in. Oh, motto. Alexa, set the timer for 10 minutes. She works for me.
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay.
By the way, if you need more time,
Stop talking.
snooze,
Alexa, stop talking.
ringing up.
She's not the boss. So that'll go for 10 minutes. It's a good time for a song, don't you think? I used to sing about 35 shows a month, sometimes more, about 400 to 500 shows every year. And that went down to goose egg. So I started singing online. I've got some Christmas songs up there. I know I'm talking to a Jewish group, but still Christmas is fun. So one of the songs I recorded early in this pandemic was called Part of Your World, which came from The Little Mermaid from the 1990s. I love that song. And it's of course about a mermaid who wants to be among us. And the lyrics are really quite perfect for the world of isolation that we're all living in right now. So that's one song. And then the other one I'm going to sing for you is Over the Rainbow because, well, for goodness sakes, it's the best song ever. It's Over the Rainbow. It's perfect for this. So go ahead, Melissa.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around on those What's that word again? Flipping your fins, you won't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down a, what's that word again? Street. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? And what would I pay to spend the day warm on the sand? Met you on land, they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters, bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. And I'm ready to know what the people know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and what is it? What's that word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore the shore up above, wandering free? Wish I could be part of that world. Oh, what would I give if I could live out of these waters? And what would I pay to spend the day warm on the sand? Met you on land, they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters, bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. And I'm ready to know what the people know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and what is it? What's that word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore the shore up above, wandering free? Wish I could be part of that world, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world.
As Melissa switches videos, I get to tap dance again. She just texted me. So here I am. I thought that was a wonderful song. Maybe we could practice our reactions, ladies. So that was beautiful. Thank you, Kim.
My pleasure.
She's switching our tech maven. It just takes a moment sometimes.
Well, here, let me tell you a story about Over the Rainbow. My very first job as a singer was on the Mississippi Queen cruise line. And that was my training ground. And every night we would have, 2 seatings for dinner on the cruise, and we'd put on the show 2 times. And then after that, the band leader would play 2 hours of dance music for the passengers to dance into the night. And one night, our band leader, I don't know if he was drunk or bored or what, but he played one song for 2 hours. He played In the Good Old Summertime. You remember that old chestnut? And the reason the way he got away with it is because he played it like a ballad. He did it like a waltz. He did swing style. He did rock and roll style. He did every genre of music that you could think of. And every now and again, a passenger would go up to him and say, "Oh, Brian, can you play, blah, 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 something?" And he would say, "Certainly." And then he'd play In the Good Old Summertime again, some other way. It was hilarious. The reason to tell you that story is I can do that with Over the Rainbow. I have several dozen arrangements of it. This song lends itself to be sung so many different ways. And it's kind of remarkable. And when I sing it, when I perform it live for people, whichever button my finger touches on the iPad, that's the one I sing. So.
And I think that's what happens now.
There you go. Get it.
Thank you. You're a better tap dancer than I.
This comes from 1939. It's a song y'all know. Let's sing it together. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and where dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, where above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. If birds fly over the rainbow, well, why, then oh, I can't die. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up when the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. If birds fly over the rainbow, why, then oh, I can't die. If happy little bluebirds fly beyond that rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Alexa, stop the timer. Are you with me? Perfect timing. There you are.
There I am. I'm back.
I just took these out of the oven.
Yes.
They're beautiful. Slid them off of the cookie sheet. Now they're done.
Perfect. And the room temperature eggs make a huge difference.
Makes a big difference. And the room
Yes.
temperature butter.
I
Yeah.
will show you mine. See, mine are too puffy. Whoa.
But they're beautiful.
They taste
They're
great.
good. How do they taste? I think they're great.
They're addicting.
I know.
So
Wow.
thank you so much, Kim, for both your
My
songs
pleasure.
and your cooking.
Thank
We
you,
will-
everybody.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Okay. So we have another, I believe, trivia question. Oh, before I go there, we will be having, at the end, you'll have a chance to see Kim's website and her YouTube site addresses. We have, at the very end, we'll be putting those up on the screen. Ooh, this is a tricky question. Okay. There we go. Wasn't letting me submit. And we'll wait for the answer. Oh, my goodness. 87%. You are all correct. They are red, green, and black. Excellent. We know our Kwanzaa trivia. So, okay, moving along. Oops. Next, so we have our, wait a minute. You know, I always start out so organized, everyone. Let me just say, if I don't number my papers, I just mess everything up. So, now that you have your drinks and your snacks, it's story time. We are so pleased to have Ruth Spiro with us today to read 2 of her books. Ruth is a children's book author and freelance writer. She's also an NCJW CNS member. She is the author of the popular board book series, Baby Loves Science, that explain things like quarks, so even I can understand them. And as an ACT prep teacher, I think everyone should make sure their children start learning science when they're babies. It would make my life easier. Today, she's going to share 2 books from her political science series titled Baby Loves Democracy and Baby Loves Justice. So nibble on a cookie, sip your mojito, and settle back to listen to these very timely stories. Here is Ruth.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Spiro, and I live in the suburbs of Chicago. And as Debbie said, I am a children's book author, and some of the books that I have written are about science. And they're for little ones, which is very surprising. So for example, one of the titles is about quantum physics. And some of the other books are, I have a group about the 5 senses. So there's smell, sight, touch. I think you might be able to see up here. There's also hearing and taste. And one little thing about this one is that proceeds from this book, Touch, are being donated to Keshet. So if you purchase this book from anywhere, I'm actually donating some of my royalties. So you can buy the book anywhere and they will be donated to Keshet. So the books that I'm going to read today are from the brand new grouping of political science. We decided to branch out because when I write my books, I write about things that kids might be curious about. So for example, when you go to the park and you watch a bird fly, how does a bird fly? Well, that's actually physics. And so I wrote aerospace engine. I'm trying to point like the weather lady. Baby Loves Aerospace Engineering. That's all about how birds fly and how airplanes fly and then how rockets fly. So we started to think about what is something else that little kids might be seeing all around them and what might they be curious about? And we realized that it was election time. And so we started out with this book, which I'll read now, which explains about how elections work and why it's important to vote. And then as I was doing my research, I realized that there was so much more. So we decided to do one book for each of the 3 branches of government. So the second book I'm going to read is Justice, which is about the judicial branch of government. And the 2 new ones that aren't even out yet, they're coming out soon, is Congress, which is about how Congress works and how bills become laws. And I'm very excited for the presidency. And in true NCJW style, this all takes place at a food pantry. And it's all about how the child in the book helps their parent who is in charge of the food pantry. And they're getting ready for a very important visit from an important visitor to the food pantry. And you'll also see that these books are all inclusive. So we include people with all abilities, people of all races, children of all races. Okay, so you were promised a story time. Get your mojito and your cookies, and here we go. This is Baby Loves Political Science, democracy. Baby likes to color. She's making a sign for election day. What happens on election day? We vote. The United States of America is a democracy. In a democracy, the people get to vote. That means they choose their leaders. Now you'll notice in this book, we follow a mayoral election, and you'll see why in a few minutes. A person who wants to be elected as a leader is called a candidate. Candidates may talk about different plans to help their community. How do people in the community decide who they think will do the best job? Sometimes they get together and listen to the candidates. This is called a rally. Some people make signs, just like Baby. To support their favorite candidate, people may send postcards to others in the community. They have meetings with their friends and neighbors and put up signs. Baby wants to help too. What can she do? Put stamps on the postcards, bring cookies to the meeting, and color more signs. On election day, I wrote this a year ago. On election day, many people go to a polling place. They vote by marking their choice for candidate on a ballot. In a democracy, everyone's vote counts the same. Everyone has a voice. Can Baby vote? No. A voter must be at least 18 years old. Sorry, Baby. But she can cheer when Mommy puts the ballot into the machine. Good job. Every vote is important. At the end of the day, all the votes are counted. The candidate with the most votes wins, usually. And I didn't think we could really get into the Electoral College in this little book. So we decided to make this about a mayoral election. Some people are happy, some are not, but they can still be friends. The newly elected leader must work to help everyone, not just those who voted for her. One day, Baby will be old enough to vote. Maybe she will be a candidate and win an election too. Baby loves democracy. And this is my favorite page. It's so aspirational, right? Because I started to think about this. There's a kid right now that's in the bathtub, or that is eating with their fingers from their high chair, and that kid's going to be president one day, right? Like we have future mayors and senators and governors. They're all little kids right now, and it just kind of blew my mind to think about that. So the kid that you're pushing around in the stroller tomorrow, that could be our next president, which I think is amazing. Okay, the next one I'm going to read is Justice. And we notice something. Baby has two moms here. Uh-oh, Baby's family has rules. He's not supposed to throw a ball in the house. If Baby doesn't follow the rules, there may be consequences. At daycare, Baby's teacher helps all the children understand the rules. Rules keep the classrooms safe and fair for everyone. There are rules grown-ups must follow too. They're called laws. Laws are meant to keep our community safe and fair for everyone. The Constitution of the United States of America lists many of our laws and also people's rights. Rights protect people's freedom to do things like speak their opinion, marry the person they love, and vote in elections. The Constitution divides the government into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. The job of the judicial branch is to help everyone understand the laws. A lawyer can help explain the law and give people advice about their rights. This is a courtroom. A judge, and sometimes a jury, are there to ensure justice. Justice is fair treatment for all. If someone is accused of breaking a law, they may go to court and explain what happened. A judge or jury listens and decides whether they broke the law and will face consequences. Baby didn't mean to knock over the vase. It was an accident. He has a chance to make things better, and next time he'll remember the rule. Maybe baby will be a judge someday, just like mama. Baby loves justice. And that is the end of that. And here's just a little sampling of all the different topics that I've written about. And somebody did ask a question here. Yes, and
Yeah.
somebody said Hanukkah gifts. So, well, first I'll tell you a little bit. Okay, so the age range is one question. These are actually designed for kids from birth up until kindergarten, because when you have a very young child, these are designed, they may not understand all of the words, but they can look at, they love looking at other faces of babies, right? They're just drawn to other faces. So they'll be mesmerized by looking at the faces of the babies. And you can look at them and, where is the sun? And what's this? That we've got blocks. And, you can look at all the different things. Baby's wearing glasses here, and there's flowers. So they're learning new words, and they're learning the rhythm of your voice, and you can point out colors. So even from they're very young, you can be reading this to infants, and then toddlers and preschoolers, and a lot of kindergarten teachers are using these as well. And sometimes when I do in-person events and I get maybe a 5 or 6 year old and they say, oh, that book is for a baby, I say, actually, no, because a baby can't really understand everything that's in here. It's about a baby. And we're watching the baby learn about these different things. And it's definitely for older kids. And what's interesting, Debbie had mentioned the Quarks book, which is all about particle physics. My daughter's friend sent her a Snapchat of her college chemistry class, and the professor was reading that book to explain the basics of atoms and molecules and particles. So that was kind of fun. So anyway, I actually have another picture book that's coming out in February, and it's called Maxine and the Greatest Garden Ever. And that's a picture book more for elementary kids. So probably in the 4 through 8 age range. And I also did want to mention that these are great gifts, and I've partnered with the Book Bin in Northbrook because I love to support independent businesses and independent bookstores. And they have actually made an entire page with all of my books on there. And if you order from them directly, they can ship it to anywhere in the country. And they also have these special autograph stickers. So I've signed them personally, and they will put the autograph sticker on the book for you. So whoever you send these to is getting a signed book. And we will, so we're going to send the link to everyone. And actually, I have it right there. That's ready to go. But it will also be in the follow-up email that you get. And let me look at if
there was one other question, Ruth, about how did you become a children's book writer, I think, basically.
Okay, so this is not something that I thought that I was going to do. When my girls, I have 2 daughters, and when they were young, we were reading all the time. And I started to think, I started to get some ideas for things that I might want to write about. So I took a class and practiced and wrote, and I actually taught a couple of classes. And so my background is not in science. However, we have experts who review these books. I have a scientist, a physicist, who reviews the text and the illustrations for accuracy. And depending on what the topic is, I had another book that's on structural engineering. And so for that one, I had someone who is a structural engineer review it. There's a book on coding. I had a software engineer review it. So it's really important to me that everything be completely accurate. because our kids deserve that, right? I didn't want these to be just jokes. I wanted them to have some value and to be something that would be correct and something that they would learn from, but also enjoy. So it's just important to me that we have them review just to make sure that all the facts and all the details are totally accurate. And if you have other questions for me, I do have a website. It's ruthspiro.com. There's a contact through there. Feel free to send me an email. I'm also all over social media, so you can always find me and ask a question. It's Ruth Spiro everywhere. And yes, actually, and there's one other comment here about the Black-owned bookstores that have these. So the book about, it's not up here, but the book about gravity actually has, you know, a child of color here. And in the spring, when there were all these lists going around that were of books that were featuring Black main characters in the children's books, that book appeared on a ton of lists. And so sales really just popped. But I did not feel right profiting from that, because these lists were coming about because of the pain and the turmoil that was going on. So I felt like, you know, it's not really right for me that, like, because of all of these horrible things going on right now, that my royalties are going to be, you know, flowing into me. So I actually just donated my royalties from that particular book to a group called We Need Diverse Books. And what they do is they help promote diversity in books and provide resources, and they're a fabulous organization. And so I actually just wrote them a check. I said, I'm not going to profit from the pain of others. And so I took the amount of royalties that I made from that book during that time period and made a donation to that group. So that was just something I felt was the right thing to do. So anyway, yeah, so I'm just so happy to have been here. Again, if you have any questions, but please do support the Book Bin or any other, the bookstall has my books. They have them at Anderson's and the Bookseller, and you know, most independent booksellers do sell them. So again, thank you so much. And I think that's all I have. I think we're out of time.
Thank you so much. That was great. That was really wonderful. And thank you for answering everyone's questions. So I know what I'm getting my nieces, my great nieces and nephews now. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda is going to be one more trivia question, I believe. Yes, Melissa? Are we doing one more? Yes. While we transition. We should all get this one right, guys. There we go. Hi, Robbie. Oh, someone got it wrong. So, okay, 86%. So if you got all three trivia questions correct, put your name in the chat so we know who got all three. Oh, you do know it was the one about the oil, about the, I don't think I went there, about the oil. Thanks. If you got them all right, you don't get a prize, just recognition. So put your name in the chat if you would. Okay. So our finale, and she's already laughing. Okay. Oh, before our finale, we're going to, before Rabbi Rutenberg, let's get into the Hanukkah mood. And now we're all going to sing along, aren't we? Or not? You can unmute yourselves, everyone, for this part. but Melissa's going to play a video for us with the words, and we can all sing along. I'm a horrible singer. I'm not singing. So there we go.
You will and will give a treat. Ready to play with the clock is ticking while we play the and harbor for one for each night to remind us of days long ago. To remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
When we all have our unmuted, there was a little feedback, but Robbie, you were coming through loud and clear, as was Sherry. Very nice. Kudos to you both. So, all right. And now we have to all go back on mute. Otherwise, we have too much feedback. So Bev and Marlis, make sure you're on mute, Beth. Otherwise, it gets too noisy. And now, we are honored to have Rabbi Danya Rutenberg with us. Rabbi Rutenberg is the scholar in residence. I think many of you have met her at different Zoom events for NCJW. She is the author of 7 books, including Nurture the Wow, Finding Spirituality in the Frustration, Boredom, Tears, Poop, Desperation, Wonder, and Radical Amazement of Parenting, which as an English teacher, that is one of my most favorite book titles ever. Ever. She also shares a young woman's spiritual awakening in her memoir, Surprised by God, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Religion. Today, she will lead us in the symbolic lighting of the first Hanukkah candle and share her message of Hanukkah. Rabbi.
Hi, everybody. So Debbie and I talked about what might feel like the right thing for this moment. And I really feels like a moment to sort of talk about the history of Hanukkah and to really separate out some of what really happened from the, the sort of, there's the easy, nice story that we've all heard many, many times, but this was the war was a real, like there are real historical events. And there's what to learn from that. So I thought I would share sort of a quick sort of history of sort of some key points in the Hanukkah story and share out 3 different learnings that we can take away from this as we think about what it means for grown-ups to really enter into this holiday, this time, this season. So some of this and some of this I suspect may be new to folks. In 175 BCE, right, before the Common Era, an insecure, despotic ruler came to power. He was narcissistic and known for a level of extravagance and display that bordered on the bizarre, right? Despite his ability to occasionally captivate his subjects, he was known to be a tyrant at heart. I don't know if any of this feels familiar, but he put unqualified cronies in key positions and he was not an easy person to work with, shall we say. He was also very paranoid, and there started to be a whole power scuttle about who would have the role of high priest in the Jerusalem temple, because Antiochus IV was the Seleucid ruler, the sort of after the Greeks, he kind of got into power over the land of Israel. And he got a little paranoid about who was in the role and who was in the job. And so then he hit down, and this probably you've heard that he, became very extracting and oppressive, and said it's forbidden for Jews to keep Shabbat, and it is forbidden for Jews to circumcise their children. And he took over the temple, ransacked it for the treasures, right? Selling our holy spaces for parts, and started sacrificing pigs to Zeus in our temple, and told Jews that they had to eat the sacrifice, right? This is a variation on things probably people have heard. Some Jews made the calculation. They said, you know what? I actually am gonna, like, this is not gonna be the time to make waves. Maybe I'll eat the pig. And some Jews were like, no, this is not what we do. And so then famously, this little band of zealots came together. How did they defeat the army, right? How did they even do that? This was the Seleucid army, right? This was state power. But what the Maccabees had was they knew their terrain, right? This was their space. So they knew where all the little caves were. They knew where all the places to hide, their nook and crannies. They knew what things were likely to happen when, in terms of the sort of cultural moments. And they took advantage of that. And they were light on their feet. And they adapted quickly to the moment. And this is how they managed to beat back this profound, powerful state, army, right? That was hell bent on our destruction. And so, lesson number one from Hanukkah is that yes, sometimes you need to stand up to tyranny, and that being complicit in our own harm or in others' harm is unacceptable. And that in order to do that, we need to know when we need to be adaptable, when we need to be sneaky, when we as people who are fighting for justice have advantages in this work, things that we know really well, that we can play to our strengths, right? And that we can find ways to be a few steps ahead based on what we know about this world, about this work, about our place in the universe, right? That there are things we know, and we can be fast on the ground. And whether that's using technology in novel ways, if that's organizing in novel ways, if that's figuring out how to get the work done during the pandemic, we have ways to be light on our feet, and that can be a powerful way to get the work done. That's number one. Number two, after the war happened, the Maccabees then kind of went out into the countryside and kept going. They got the army out of the way, and then they continued. They were like, conquering, this is great. I guess the adrenaline was going. I don't even know. But then they went out into the neighboring cities. And if you read the book of Maccabees, like, they weren't all pure magical good guys, right? There were atrocities happened, right? Weddings got turned into funerals. There was some forced circumcision, right? They decided to Judaize everybody. Like, there were moments where we weren't the good guys. And so lesson number two is that we have to remember, when we're winning, when things are going well, we have to remember our humility. We have to remember that our job is always to center those who are most vulnerable, right? We have to remember that when we talk about our history, we have to name what's true, and that we can fight for justice and be proud of our Jewishness and still be able to face the complexity head on, and to know that Judaism is bigger and more expansive than a couple of, war-soaked dudes, right? A childlike faith is like, you're either all good guys or you're bad guys, and we can't have that. Grown-up faith is about saying, this is messy and complicated, and it's ours, right? And we're gonna own all of it. So that's lesson number two. And then lesson number three came a little bit later. So we have the Hasmoneans won, and then they were in power. They were not really very good at running a country, as it turns out. And not long after that, the Romans came and conquered. And then the temple got destroyed. So this was all a few years before the Common Era, like a couple centuries before the Common Era. And then the Romans conquered, And then the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem in 70 CE after the Common Era, so like 2,000 years ago. And that was a bad moment for us. And then we tried to fight back again, like Maccabee style. And it was called the Bar Kokhba Revolt. And that's when things ended really badly for us. And that was really the beginning of the Jewish diaspora, was like the Romans basically kicked us out, sold us into slavery, wasn't good. Okay. And so then this whole group of Jews wound up in what's now Iraq. We called it Babylonia back then. And this is where the Talmud got written. So like the era time between 200 and 500 CE. So we're now 400 years after the Maccabean War, 500 years. And they're sitting around talking about the famous Talmudic thing opens my Hanukkah. What's Hanukkah? And the answer is, so there's this story about the oil and there wasn't enough oil and it was miraculous and it lasted, right? This, I'm assuming people are familiar, when they came to restore the temple, their holy space, it seemed like there was only enough oil for one day, but it takes 8 days to produce oil to consecrate, but the oil lasted 8 days. We don't find this until hundreds of years later. It's the first time we're hearing this story. And it's possible that the reason why is because the Jews were living under Roman occupation. And it might not have been the most politic thing to talk about this awesome holiday they have celebrating the violent overthrow of the occupying government. That might not have been strategic. So the rabbis say, my Hanukkah, like what's Hanukkah? And they say, the holiday with the oil. And everybody goes, the oil. And so from this, we remember that sometimes while we are fighting for our Jewishness and to stay alive, sometimes we need to be thoughtful and strategic and to know how to get the work done. And it's not always going to be linear. And that sometimes in those moments when it's like, really not sure how we're going to get from here to there, is these moments when powerful, holy creativity blooms, right? The oil offers something really powerful to our experience of Hanukkah, right? I am glad it is there. And just as the original miracle of Hanukkah is that people getting together and saying no to injustice, and we can win, right? And that's a miracle. And then we can take back our holy spaces and say, this is what we are here for. We can also remember that every single one of us carries a candle inside of us, as Rav Kook taught. And that when we bring our lights together, we can make light that brightens up the whole world, right? That creates a blazing light. And that in our creativity, in our strategicness, in our knowing when we need to be using what tactics, and in our not being afraid to talk about what's true and what's really happened. That this can be the light, like this is all the light that can illuminate us. And this is how we can keep burning forward and hopefully being part of the process of everyone bringing more light to the world. So, Hanukkah Sameach. Should we do this? You want to do a little candle lighting? Okay.
I asked her if it was okay to light a candle before the first night, and she.
And I said if the answer was going to be no, I had no business working for a pluralistic Jewish organization.
Right. So.
There are a lot of ways to Jewish, and we are being together in a Hanukkah space, and that's good. That's
right. So we're yes. So.
This is an awkward thing about how my computer is set up and and fire hazards. I might need to move this.
Okay.
This is my Chanukia. Okay, so how we light is, this is backwards. Let's have it facing correctly so that what you see is the correct order. You start from the left, and you light the shamash, then you light the candle, and then you say the blessings, except on Shabbat. When you light the candle and then you say the blessings before, except on Shabbat when you light, and then you say all the blessings. And with your permission, I'll do both the blessing for Hanukkah and the traditional second blessing that we say along with it. The blessing for the candles and the second blessing. So say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, בימים ההם, בזמן הזה. Blessed are you, God, who commands us to light the candles of Hanukkah, and blessed are you, God, who did miracles for our ancestors in their days at this time. Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Happy Hanukkah. Thank you so very much. That was like a perfect ending to our celebration. We had so many wonderful, strong women in this celebration. I hope everyone appreciated everybody that was here. I'm going to say a few thank yous, and then like Melissa is putting on the screen. We're thanking, I don't know why we're thanking me, but Judith Maisel for, she put together, compiled a children's book list that you'll be able to find on our website, and Melissa will be sending out a follow-up email with some of this information. The beginning song at the beginning of the, before we started, as you were entering, was by the GBN Express Choir. So we thank them. We thank Kim and Ruth and Rabbi Danya Rutenberg for being with us. And of course, I have to thank Melissa because she's been very busy in the background. One exciting thing we are doing is we're launching a For Kids Only page on our website. It's called Big and Small Ideas to Make a Difference. The launch is around the 10th, so we can get some kids and younger families involved in making a difference. Sort of like Ruth Spiro gets people young to learn about political science and science. So we're looking forward to that. If anybody wants to go into a chat room and talk to anybody that's on the screen, you can feel free to go into a breakout room. We have a few of them set up. All you have to do is pick one and you can talk, or you can talk amongst yourselves if you like. But that is our program. I hope it kicked off your holiday season, and it was, when we can't meet together, I hope this was at least something that gave you a little distraction from our isolation. And Melissa just put something in the chat. Oh, all the information on the closing slide will be sent to you tomorrow. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Rabbi. I think Kim had to go to a different one, but I thank her too. And thank you, Melissa. Happy Hanukkah, everybody.